Hello, everybody. Oh, where do I start? Adjusting the camera. My name's Amy. You have stumbled across my Flosstube channel, Mimi Stitchery. Today is Sunday, April 7th. Let me see what Flosstube episode this is because I didn't bother to look it up before I did that. So we are at Flosstube 102. I think I said it's Sunday, April 7th. It's the day before the eclipse. I let's do a little life up front. I say this every time. I've been super busy. This semester is always super busy for me, so that's kind of where I land. On top of that, we had a change in my schedule this last week because there was a conference in Albany. So I went to that, and I'm on day 2 of a 3-day weekend, which I haven't had in like forever. So I'm enjoying my time at home. That being said, a little tired, no makeup, you get the hair up in a knotted bun, whatever. But if you're here, then you just take me as I am all the time. It has been 4 weeks, I think, since I recorded a video, probably 3 weeks since the last one went up. It says 2 weeks ago. I think it's been longer than that. There you go. I had recorded it with full intention of editing it and putting it up, and then life happens as it often does, and I was not able to edit and made the decision to put it up as is. So for those of you that were expecting a nicely edited video, my apologies. Life just does not work out that way sometimes. And my channel is nothing if it's not honest and real to what's going on. Sorry, I keep shaking my desk too. So I have lots to show you today. I have lots of stitching. I have lots of knitting. I have what I would consider a significant haul at the moment. I have one finished object. It is not stitching. It is knitting. But I have a ton of stitching to show you. Again, I sat down here thinking that I did not have a ton to show you. And when I piled it all up around me, you should see. Like, I should take a picture of the scene before I record a Flosstube sometime and post it up in the community tab, so you guys can see what it actually looks like to do a Flosstube. Yeah, so if you're new here, welcome aboard. If you are faithful and true longtime supporter, thanks for coming back every time. I will tell you, as the weather gets nicer and as camping season opens up, those of you that have been around for a while know that my husband and I have a camper, an RV. We like to take trips. We like to take some longer trips. My Flosstubes may become further in between. Fewer and further in between. Is that the expression? So just a heads up on that. We have a beautiful day today. The wind's kind of cool, but it's in the low 50s. Too cold to sit out there because I get sinus headaches when the wind's whipping like this. But I have been going out on occasion today and sitting in the sun. For tomorrow's total eclipse, we have a cloudy day forecasted. I do live in the path of totality. So that's kind of cool. I think it's a little bit ridiculous that people think that actually tons of people are going to come to upstate New York to see the eclipse when there's plenty of other places on the path of totality that are a lot nicer to be. But that's just me being me. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it'll surprise me tomorrow and we will get all the traffic they're predicting. They've even closed roads to route traffic. But I live in rural upstate New York. Now, that being said, the path of totality is narrow. So, yeah, the whole state's not going to see totality. But it's interesting. Interesting events that are going on. I'm excited. I'm off tomorrow, so I think most of my faculty that I work with have taken tomorrow off if they were able. So yeah, there's that. So I have one more day. I've spent some time this morning cleaning up in my sewing area, cleaning up downstairs. I have guests coming in next weekend. So I can tell you straight up, I will not be recording one next week. And yeah, they're probably going to look like more than like a month or so apart now, just with the better weather and Matt and I spending time together on Sundays. Recording will become a little bit of an issue, but if I have time, I'll record. I was watching another Flosstuber this morning, and I'm going to echo her sentiments. There has been, in my mind, an increase in negativity on Flosstube channels and on Instagram. It's part of the reason I think that it takes me so long to sit down for a video is because part of me just doesn't want to have to police my station to delete comments. I delete all negative comments from my channel. I do not tolerate it at all. And it's not personal. It's simply that I think we should be nice and supportive of each other. If you don't like my stuff, then by all means, you don't have to watch. If you don't like my methods, same thing. Everybody's free to do them, and that's what I love about our community. But for some reason, it seems like lately the negative comments have increased. And so I was watching Catherine, the Needleberry Stitcher, today. She said it, and I'm going to say it. I want this community to be positive. I want this to be a place where all people can come, that we can differ in opinions, and that's okay. And we just respect each other for the time that we spend on our craft. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Thank you, Catherine, for bringing it up today on your Flosstube. It empowered me to do the same, and I've been on the soapbox before if you've been around, so this will be no shock to you at all. But let's get on to the stitching, shall we? That took a while, 7 minutes of my yammer, and I apologize. But hopefully you won't get much more of it today. The first project I'm going to show you is one of my mirrors. This is Royal Holiday. I brought this out to stitch on. It's being stitched on 28 count Abyss by Fabrics by Stephanie. It's with all the called for floss and the thread. And I'm going to try to keep these organized as I show them and put them away. I took some of the Q-snap off so I can show you. But this is where she's at. I finished her hands and the bouquet with the candle that she's holding, completed the brown ribbons, completed her arm, and started working on the bodice of her dress. I had one color in her arm confused or mislabeled in my floss drops, and so I had to actually frog some things out and replace, but that's okay. It worked. If you've been around here, you know I don't really frog much. Sorry, zipper. This is in a bag made by me. I had these in my shop. They are not there anymore, but this holds my work stitch, which is not my work stitch anymore. I've switched it out for a different work stitch, and you'll see that. This is Strawberry Fields by Blackbird Designs. This is being stitched on... I have it written down. Hold on. This is being stitched on Dusty Cottage by Bee Stitch Me. I started this in early February with some stash threads that I pulled. And I haven't gotten too far. But there you go. I think it's going to look great on this. I brought it home. I'm switching it out for my mill hill. So if you've been around for a while, you know I've been working on a mill hill. You'll get to see that today. But this has now been brought home. Oops. And the mill hill has been put into my work stitch rotation. I have to be honest with you. I don't stitch a ton at work because I find that I end up having to frog more when I stitch it at work. So I try not to do that. Next project I'm going to show you, I got a whole pile here. I did not feel like I stitched this much. This is Cooper by Kathy Barrick. I have done a color conversion on this inspired by Stephanie at Lindy Stitches, where she changed it to reflect more of the parrot family colors instead of this bird here and made it brighter. I am stitching this on 36 count Ren by Picture This Plus. I actually started that in May of last year, it says. And this is where I am. Notice I'm not saying this is where it was before, this is where it will be when it's finished, because I'm not editing this video. I am not going to put that pressure on myself, but here he is. Notice he is still in the Q-snap, so he will still go next to my chair. Thoroughly enjoy. If you want my color conversion, let me know and I will give it to you. But I am using some of Farmhouse Flossie's in here, some DMC, and I do think a Classic Colorworks in here too. But if you would like the color conversion, just message me and I will give it to you. Really like how he's coming out. We'll have to work on him soon. Next project. Sorry, zipper. So those of you that have earbuds in, I got a rogue hair back here. I'm sorry about that. This is absolutely love this one. Peacock, Unicorn, and a Badger. This is by the Scarlet Letter. I am stitching this on 40 count Attic Lace by Lakeside Linen. It is being stitched 1/2 with the called for DMC. This is in a bag that I won. Bag was made by Tiffany at Black Cat X Stitchery. I won this bag last year at the Steel City Stitchers retreat. I was not able to go to that retreat this year because they moved the dates. And so I was actually at a conference in Albany when that retreat started. So I was unable to attend this year. But I worked on this a little bit in my hotel while I was at the conference. Let me move my needle. You can tell that I just kind of put these things down because my needles are still on here with thread. So I filled in more of the sun, did a couple threads in with the green, did some outlining here. I saw on Instagram, somebody went through this whole piece and outlined everything, and now it's just a matter of filling in like a color by number. I kind of like that idea. I just don't know that I have the stamina to outline everything and not go back and start filling in. So I will just continue to do Amy's way, but I do like the thought of that. I love this piece. I love everything that I work on now, which is so nice. When I went through my whips and got rid of all the ones that no longer spoke to me, it was such a good thing for me, I think. This is in a portfolio that Tiffany from Black Cat Stitchery made for me last year. This is, Gail is patiently waiting for me to finish this. This is the Little Brown Bat by Cottage Garden Samplings. I am stitching this on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha, stitching it 1/2 with the called for threads. This is where I am. I don't think I've showed this to you since I filled in a lot of that wing, but here we are. Working on filling on the wing and then go to the rest. So yes, we have, this was some series that I convinced Gail from Gail's Gold Needle. If you're not watching her, excuse me, you should be. We started the series over 2 years ago now. We were going great guns and got one done a month for a while, and then we went to one every 2 months. And then we kind of stalled on the bat. She's finished the bat. We have one more to do. It is the beaver. So as soon as I'm done with the bat, she and I will start the beaver. All right. This is now my work stitch. This is a little bag that Gail gave to me. Sorry, zipper. And this is in a frame that a friend of mine, Lori, hello Lori, her husband made these magnetic frame for me because I was complaining so much on our Zoom call about stitching on perforated paper. This is my Mill Hill. This is Tree of Life. This is stitched on 14 count perforated paper. I have the frame downstairs for this. It was started quite some time ago. But you'll be able to see that now, oh, I should keep that paper out and put it behind it. You'll be able to see that I'm making progress. And then here you go. So I've brought this circle all the way around. I filled in more in here. I filled in more in the tree trunk, and I believe I've done this since last time you saw it. Maybe not. But I'm making good progress on this, and I'm going to continue to keep it in my bag. So I stitch on it at home and I stitch on it at work. But it looks really good. It looks really good on camera too. I was kind of worried today because it is afternoon. It is almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was worried about the lighting in here being kind of funky, but I think it's just about perfect, and things are showing up as they should. All right, this one's going to take me a little minute to show you because I was working on it today. This is in a bag made for me by Kelly from my Wednesday night. She made it for me for my birthday. This is And a Forest Grew. Trying to get the cover picture out for you. Gail and I took this chart and divided it into 12 sections, and we are with the goal of completing this year. This is by Rosewood Manor. We started this on my birthday in 2023 and decided this year it's getting a finish. This is designed by Karen Kluba. I am stitching this. It is 36 count mushroom by XJU Designs, and I'm going to take a couple of these snaps off so that you can actually see it. I just put it on the Q snap. Here, I'm hoping that you're going to be able to see it now. That's where we are. So let's talk. March's homework ended like right here. I actually did the deer in March, but now I'm working on April's homework, which is section 2, which is right here. But I love the way it's coming out. I'm using alternate wording that Lindy Stitches did in hers. And I absolutely love it. I did this willow tree this morning on the Zoom call. We have an early Stitchers Zoom call. And I am thoroughly enjoying that. And I like the progress. I'm stitching that with the called for DMC. Oh, and I have one more to show you, and I didn't bring my tablet. So, one of my full coverage, it's called Bonded by the Rain. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Leonid Afremov. Let me show you. This is what it will look like when it's finished. Hopefully you're not getting too much glare on that. Artwork is by Leonid Afremov. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I am stitching this on 25 count Lugana 2/110, and you'll have to excuse all the threads. This is where I am. This came out for 1,000 stitch rotation. I mainly worked right in here. I actually think it got more than 1,000 stitches. And now the next full coverage that I'm going to pull out is my World of Disney. So that's going to come out next and get 1,000 stitches. So last time you saw me, you saw Stitching Shelf got 1,000. Shelf got 1,000 stitches. Now this has 1,000 stitches. And now I'm bringing out World of Disney to get its 1,000 stitches. Slow but sure, they are coming along. That is all of my cross stitch whips. I feel like that was a lot. That was all my cross stitch whips. I'm going to talk about knitting next. If you actually, you know what? Let's talk about cross stitch haul first. And then I'll go to knitting and then do knitting haul. So let's do that. So if you're here for the haul, you've got it. I received this. I already showed you guys this. I received this pattern and the flosses from a girlfriend from my stitching group for my birthday. And I also received an Etsy gift card. So I went on Etsy and I purchased some fabric. Mainly I wanted to get fabric that I could use for this, but you know what? I just picked out, I went to Hollis Hands Create and I got this, which is Mayflower 36 count from Fox and Rabbit because I liked it. This is Magical Gray 36 count. It's a Zweigart. I think that's probably too dark for that. And this is Stormy Night. I don't think that will work either for this particular pattern. But I may have something in a stash that would work. So I'm still on the hunt. But I like these fabrics anyway. So I have a nice 36 count neutrals. I also got my Fabric of the Month Club from Bee Stitch Me. Sorry, I haven't even opened it out of the cellophane yet. I received a piece of 18 count Aida. And this is called Gold Rush. Oh, that's kind of dulled it out. It's a little brighter than that. Let's see if I can get it. That's probably very true to color right there. Let me see if I can. This, right there. That's actually a little lighter than that is. It's deeper than that. See, the further I get away, the further it washes out, and then it washes out there. So I have to go with it. It's actually deeper than that. It's washing out a little bit. And I really like that. And then I also had a 1-2-3 Stitch gift card. I had bought, and I believe I showed this to you, my Nashville 12 Days of Christmas stockings. It was my only Nashville purchase, and this, I missed out on getting the kit for these when they came out, the Annie's kits. So I bought this and then purchased. I want the ornaments to be a little smaller than they're meant to be. They're charted on 14 count black Aida. I got 32 count charcoal Belfast linen. And that's what I'm going to stitch them on. They're stitched in DMC. These are going to be started soon. I would love to have some of them finished for this Christmas. We'll see how that works. And that is the end of my cross stitch haul. I don't need to ever have a lot of cross stitch haul because I have a lot of cross stitch stash. My haul more primarily these days concentrates on knitting because I'm trying to fill up that cabinet for retirement. But anyway, so if you were only here for the cross stitch and you are leaving now, thanks for stopping by. Do me a favor and like and subscribe if you are not already. I have some surprises coming that will only be open to my subscribers. So, yeah. So you have to subscribe to be eligible for anything coming up. My phone's trying to talk to me. But now I'm going to move on to knitting. So if you're here for the knitting, hang on. Got lots to show. I have a knitting finish. I finished my Grinch socks. These are, so for you knitters, I do not keep meticulous notes, but I can tell you they were knitted on size 1 9-inch circulars. They were started on December 21st. I finished them on March 22nd. And they are done, so they can now be washed and ready for wear next Christmas. And that is my finish. I have lots of knitting whips to show you. I've been working on lots of things. And I was asked about this. I showed this last time. I started a basic raglan sweater by Joji Locatelli, put out by Madeline Tosh. This is the pattern. I am knitting this in... I put a skein in here so that I would be able to tell you. Maybe I didn't. It's Barocco Simply Alpaca. I did not put a skein in here, but I can show you the ball. It's in like a denim blue color. I thought for sure. Oh, I have a label. It's Barocco Ultra Alpaca. And it's in, I don't think it's, looks like it's 50% superfine alpaca, 50% Peruvian wool. And it's in this color number. I have not gotten to the point where I'm splitting the body from the arms, but I am getting there. I just don't want the stitches to fall off these needles. So I'm kind of, it's all curled up. Let's see if I can, there we go. So I'm almost to the point where I'm going to put the arms, I'm probably 12 rounds from putting the arms on stitch holders. But so far I have tried it on. It is fitting me quite well at the moment. This is my first foray into sweater making. I think it's going quite well. I think it looks fine. I did have to tear back and completely restart. I used a gray yarn that I had in my stash for the collar. I will do the same for the cuffs, because I do have a feeling that I'm short of skein of yarn, but I have some ideas on that. So the next whip I'm going to show you is in a bag made for me by Gail from Gail's Golden Needle. These are my Peter Pan socks. So I'm knitting these on, this was a Yarn of the Month Club from Forbidden Fiber Co. The color is Gluttony Sock. It's from, I believe, 2022 was when I was in her Yarn of the Month Club, so I have a stash of it. It's Gluttony Sock, 80% superwash, 20% nylon, and it was in the colorway Peter Pan. I had started the sock and had it almost done. I was knitting it up on 1.5 instead of size 1s. At the end of the day, I didn't like how the sock fit, so I went back to my size 1s. And I decided to add a pop of color out of my stash. I have this also Forbidden Fiber Co., but I have no idea the color. And this is where we are. We are through doing the gusset decreases now. But I put a pop of color at the cuff and pop of color at the heel. And I will probably knit straight through the toe. So yeah. There's that. I dropped one of my stitch holders, so I will have to get that when we're done. Let's see. We have 2 more whips. I belong to the Freckled Whimsy Christmassy Yarn Club. This is called, okay, so let me show you the tags. I'm trying to get better at the knitting thing. So Freckled Whimsy. I get her, you have a choice when you sign up for the yarn club. I get it on her Kismet base, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon. It's 3-ply fingering, 100 grams, and this is called Reindeer Games. This was March's Christmas of the Month colorway. My goal was to have these done in March, and that didn't happen. But I do have this first sock almost to the toe. So this came with Reindeer Games, and it came with a contrasting mini, which is like an evergreen kind of color. These are on size 1. I did 12 rows for the cuff, and then knit down, did the contrast on the heel, and I've got this I'm doing the toe decreases. That's why it's on a circular now. The next pair I do, I'm going to try to do 2 at a time. We'll see. But this is how it looks. As soon as I get the toe done, I will start the second sock. This I knit all the way to the toe while I was at my conference because I listen better if I keep my hands occupied, so that worked for me. And one more whip. As you guys know, I've been working on an Afghan for my son. It is knit out of cotton dishy yarn from Knit Picks. It is in turquoise. And again, I don't have this in a great way to show you. Hold on. We're going to chat for a minute and I'm going to finish this up. It's funny because he has red accents in his apartment and he has changed those now to be blue accents. I'm trying to figure out, where am I? Okay, we'll chat for a little bit while I finish this row so I can show you the progress of this. Sometimes I get through a full row in the mornings and I get to where I get to and then I kind of just put it down. But he came by and was looking at this Afghan and is really liking how it looks and it feels, so he's excited about it. He said this Afghan was born out of the fact that I had made all my kids knit dishcloths for Christmas. And he basically plays with the dishcloth because he likes the feeling of it. So he really liked the feeling of it. It was super soft. He likes the cotton. He asked if I would make him an Afghan. And so I went and bought 4 cones of this Knit Picks Dishy yarn. I think I way overbought. It's in this turquoise color. And if I don't have a cone with me with the wrapper on it, so if you need specifics on what color this is, just let me know. Message me and I will get it to you. But I think I brought 4 cones. I think I may only need 2, maybe 3 to do this Afghan, considering how much I have left on the cone now. I feel like it's just not coming off the cone very fast, But I don't work on it all the time either. I try to do a few rows on it almost every day. But you'll see I'm getting decent progress on it. It's just straight garter stitch knitting. It has an eyelet detail at the edges, like the dishcloths do. But really, it's very straight up garter stitch knitting. It's very easy to work on when I'm watching a movie or doing something that I don't necessarily want to be counting cross stitch and things like that. Hold on, I only have about 20 left to go here. So it's very nice in that way. I'm knitting it on my standard ChowGoo. I really do prefer the ChowGoo needles, and I even have thought a couple times about getting the set. But I like the stationary ones, if that makes sense. So I'm just collecting needles now. But I really do prefer the ChowGoo. I don't know. They're just my preference. I tried to knit something with the old Susan Bates needles that I have, and I'm like, oh Lord. I really do like the ChowGoo. Just a few more, bear with me. If you're new to my channel, this is pretty much my MO right here. Because all of my projects are subject to that. I kind of stop where I am and I don't think much of it. And okay, I'm there. Let me get the stoppers on so I can spread this out for you. I have a progress keeper on here. Let's show you the side of the progress keeper. Here, this is where we go. So it's just going to be like a giant square. And there's my progress keeper, my little butterfly. So you can see I've pretty much gotten, I don't know, close to 3 inches. Now I'll move that up because I've shown you. But it's very soft. It's very nice to work on. It's nice. It's got an eyelet detail on the edge. It's just straight up garter. He's liking it. I like working on it. So there's that. Though that is my knitting whips. Now I just have knitting haul. Some of the knitting haul I cannot show because it's gifts for somebody that watches my channel. But the rest I can. I went on a little spring trip with my honey to Tennessee. And on that trip, we stopped at a place in Pittsburgh to see Tiffany from Black Cat X Stitchery. So we stopped in Pittsburgh for half a day. And she took me to a local yarn shop and I bought this yarn. It's called Ultimate Sock. It is by Yarns by Design. It's fingering 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And it is in the colorway Zinnias. That shows up really well in there. So very pretty sock yarn. Okay, what do I show you next? Every once in a while, 3 by the Sea Designs, they have an Etsy shop. They put out, I think it's almost every quarter, a mystery sock set. This last one was Anne of Green Gables. It's called Kindred Spirits. It's on the Sanibel base. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. There is a 100 gram main skein in the 20 gram mini. And in the set came a progress keeper that I'm now going to put on the sock set. And they send a bag of tea as well. But this is, I got a progress keeper. If you remember, I had a Beauty and the Beast, and I got a progress keeper in that one as well. And this is the Anne of Green Gables progress keeper. Let me see if I can. Here we go. And this is 3 by the Sea. I'm going to flip it over so you can see their contact information. And they also happen to do a spring update. And I picked up a skein of Tea in Wonderland. This is also on their Sanibel base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. They have another one in their shop. Blossoms in Tokyo. Something in Tokyo that I want so bad, but I'm trying to reduce my spend. But this is going to be fun. I can't wait to knit that up. I got my Freckled Whimsy Christmassy sock yarn set for April. It is again on her Kismet base, and it is called Vintage Christmas. So not overtly Christmas. Vintage Christmas. Yeah. And I got my Yarnable. So I debate on Yarnable. It's tough because it's a mystery, although they do reveal on their website. The next one's pretty bright because I have looked. But I don't know. I think eventually I will probably stop the Yarnables. So in this Yarnable for April, I got wildflower seed tabs. I haven't even looked them up. Oh, there's seeds embedded in here. So I got that. I got some tip toppers, they're called, and needle stoppers. Let's see. They are, I got two of them. I'm just going to show you one. They're in the shape of a donut. We got a micro puzzle that has donuts on it. So there's a theme here, right? It came in, those things came in this bag. And then the Yarnable itself comes in a canvas bag, which I think these are kind of cool. I could use these in some gift that I'm working on. As you could probably tell, the theme was donuts. So this is on their plush sock, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. It's a 100-gram skein. April 2024. Life is short, eat the donut. And it's a speckled yarn. And I think what I'm going to do, I was initially kind of like, it's not my favorite yarn. But I think I'm going to pick a pop of color to do the cuff, toe, and heel. And that will jazz this up a little bit. So that's my plan. And I think that's it. Lots of yarn this month. It's a good thing I don't track grams in, grams out, because I think I would have lost this month. But yeah, so all I have coming monthly is I have the Yarnable that comes every month, and I have the Freckle Whimsy that comes every month. I'm going to keep them coming for now. I think this might end eventually, but not yet. And then I have been the mystery sock set. It's tough because they're mysteries. I have been happy with both of them so far. I don't remember the theme of the next one. I do think it's been announced though. I just don't remember it right now. But that's it. That's all I got. So sorry, you kind of got the life update up front. Now I can put everything away and start collecting things for my next Flosstube. But thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for keeping this channel positive and uplifting and supportive and all the things. I hope everybody enjoys. If you're in totality, enjoy the total eclipse tomorrow. If you're not, enjoy whatever it is you get to view from it. I don't know. The areas of totality, do they get dim? I don't know. But yeah. Have a great day. Enjoy your time. Craft lots. Do what makes you happy. And be kind to others.